Hey everyone, what's good? This year, my mom and I were able to take a trip to Thailand and Laos for a few weeks. The primary reason for this trip was actually for her to go see old friends that she hasn't seen in 40 plus years. And at least that would be like the first half of the trip. It would be like getting in touch with people that she hasn't seen. I think in the more extreme cases, it's like 45, 46 years. And then the second half of the trip would just be more of us being tourists. Oh, never mind. 47 years. So there isn't a direct flight from Chicago O'Hare to Bangkok, BKK. I can't pronounce the actual airport name. But so our first stop was a 13-hour flight to Haneda, Japan. We're there for a brief layover before we head to Bangkok.
Finally, it's almost 50 minutes.
I know.
Hey, what's good, everyone? So we are in Haneda. I'm probably butchering that airport. We've gotten most of the traveling done. And then here, quick thing. Hey, the Pokemon. No, Pokemon themed airplane. So now we're in a layover before we get to our final destination of Bangkok. International travel is not easy. It's a lot of time on a plane sitting, but we're most of the way there. So it's got one more trip and we'll be there.
Thailand, Lolo.
Alright, I don't know if this is centered. We have arrived at baggage claim. We are finally in Thailand. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the airport name. I'm going to have my mom pronounce it. I will say, if you're looking at the video length, it's probably like super short. I'm just going to break it up into like a lot of little videos rather than one. Oh, hey, tin me. Just for my own sanity. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy. I said I was going to do multiple videos. It's not going to happen. It's just going to be one long video, really, at this point.
Okay, me. Oh, Mia. Airport Mia. Hey, okay.
Suvarnabhumi.
Okay.
We started in Bangkok, which is Thailand's largest city as well as its capital. We spent most of the day kind of like settling in, reaching out to contacts to kind of figure out where we were in our journey.
Oh, the alarm.
No, hey, okay. Hello, welcome to day 3 on the calendar, day 2 for our actual trip. So right now we're in Bangkok and we were going to take one day to kind of like enjoy the sights, see what the city has to offer. But man, I don't know how well this is going to show up. but it is real rainy out there. So it's not going to happen today. So now we are basically going to take. I already forgot. We're going to Kon Gang for the next leg of our trip, and then hopefully we're going to come back to Bangkok to appreciate it. While I have you here, I'm going to quickly just show you a quick pan of our hotel room. So that upstairs is where the sleeping area is. Stairs. There's my mom packing, getting ready for the next leg of our trip. And yeah, just television, nice little seating area, and couch. So, all right, and then update as we travel to kind of like our next destination. A huge help in the first leg of our journey was a man named San. He would basically kind of take us to like our first stop. Along the way was getting a like a bite to eat at this like really delicious like duck pho place that was like really close to the highway. So just a heads up, the fogginess that you are seeing is because in the car it was air conditioned. The second we stepped outside, it was so humid that it immediately fogged up my lens. I wiped it down, it just refogged. So that's why it's a little gray right now. So the first stop was basically from Bangkok to Khon Kaen. Along the way, we stopped by the highway. There's a ton of food stands that you get along the way. So we got some grilled meat and some rice to eat, as well as some other pit stops.
You might be wondering why there's a gas station dyno that's bowing. I don't know. It's great though, so had to catch that.
So eventually we arrive in Khon Kaen, and Khon Kaen is the 4th largest city in Thailand. My mom knows Yi because her late husband and her would come and visit our family at the refugee camp, kind of, and make sure they were okay. This is like well before my time. I can't say we. Like catching up, seeing how things were going, we went to the local eatery. Hopefully you're picking me up. Hopefully this is audible and I don't have to do a ton of cleanup. And so we left from Bangkok, which is the capital and also the largest city, to Khon Kaen. It's about a 5-hour hike. So there was definitely some breaks. We stopped by the duck pho place. The food there was incredible, absolutely delicious. And also the old couple that ran it, super adorable. Pretty much as soon as we finished the dinner, it started raining really heavily, which is going to be a reoccurring thing in this vlog. Dinner was great. A little wet now, though. The following day, there are some additional visitors.
The time we left Laos, come pick me up. We stay with her Nearly almost 2 months.
Oh.
Yeah. Grandma, she's very good cook. Everybody say in the town. Yeah. Her husband.
Now, this picture is a knitted cap my aunt had made for them. The cap itself was over 47 years old. Not only did they have it still, it was in superb condition. So after sharing some stories, we're off to the next leg of our trip.
Hey, Jabu Kai.
Hey, Jabu Kai. I stayed 47 years ago. 48 years ago.
You trained 48 years ago, okay?
I live with my friend here for 48 years ago. We live here. Yeah.
And then he got us a drink. I forgot to hit record. Yeah.
So at this point, we're traveling to Udon Thani. Everyone just says Udon when we were there. So I'm probably butchering. I'm definitely butchering that second half. Now, this is the 6th largest city in Thailand, and we're traveling further north.
Ai gì phổ na.
Trong thông vang này translate.
Ai gì phổ na take him. Cái lâu cũng hít chai trong cả na. Young at this had 3 months. I can't forget her. She remember everything my trouble. Conลืมได้
At this point, with a lot of the friends visited, we are rushing over to Non Khai, and we're basically like passing other cities, making quick stops, things like that. Well, there's a lot of like little steps when you're crossing the border from Thailand to Laos. But ultimately, we are taking this overnight bus to Paksan, which is where we were on our last kind of like Southeast Asia trip. And that would mark like 6 cities in like 4 days. It was just like a lot of traveling and just kind of like boom, 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 visiting. The bus trip itself was long. It was humid. It's really uncomfortable, but it got the job done, and that's really what was most important. Now that it wasn't insanely late at night, we were able to meet up with Sai and her family. They let us stay with them for like the upcoming week. So it was a great home base, and to basically have our stuff, and for my mom to kind of catch up with a lot of her friends like in town. Yeah. All right. Well, it would help if I would turn on the microphone. So, if you watched the last vlog when we were visiting Laos, all of this used to be like a dirt clay. Do you just say clay road, or is it still just a dirt road? Regardless, it's a road now. It's been fully paved. It feels very different. And now we're actually off to go see my mom's friend Song, who's the friend that we stayed with on our first trip here. So excited. Yeah. สบายดี
ฮอดมื้อไหน
เขาอยากถามเบิ่งเพราะว่าจะว่ามาฮอดอันอันฮอดกูไปใส่บ่ได้แล้วไปหาไข่นั่งรถนั่งได้
And then right there, right there, that is the spot where I pretty much ranted and rave of our visa difficulties last video.
ชอบเบิ่งแซดเบิ่งอันนั้นบ่ได้โทรหาอันโทรลมเตี้ยนเดี๋ยวมีแต่ลืมอันบอก
อันนั้นน่ะไอ้เคียมข่อยหาก็มาถึงเมื่อวานนั่น
เฮ้ย ใจเข้ากินน้ำแล้วยัง
กินแล้วโอ้ย
มาอีกแล้วยังเป็นฮอดเมือง
ยังเชียมาแมน
มีกองให้นานปะ
ฮะแค่a joy กับ sister my neighbor my look like cross the street in my house when we live when we really good pay together
มาหยาบบ่ฮอดมาถึง
คิวสิให้เซ่เสียงไหนเด้ลูกชายแม่ลูกชาย
ลูกชาย
I used to know her when she young the daughter the granddaughter yeah the granddaughter the ma all the time just keep say hi with mommy when I young yeah
เอามาไปเด้อไปเท่านี้ตู่ได้อ้วนเด้แล้วว่า
ขอใจสี่คนเนาะ That's her father
Okay.
That's her father live cross the street from us
สบายดี
เป็นนายพร
อันIvan mommy when I little girl she last older and I always take care of just to tell we ฮีไลโมฮีไลนะ
We set out to go visit the Plain of Jars. It's a bit over 200 kilometers away, or 124 freedom units away, if you want to measure it that way. And it was going to take a good chunk of the day. It was compounded by a lot of like road degradation. So it would alternate between just absolutely like gorgeous vistas and then just kind of like navigating around potholes or construction. I will say though that the views well made up for it, for any kind of like headaches. I am also saying that as someone who wasn't the driver, so take that with a grain of salt. So we are off to the Plain of Jars. It's about a 5-hour trek, a bit longer because of road conditions. Gets a little bumpy at times. We're taking a quick break now, but we're continuing the trek. It looks like it's gonna be, and it's beginning to rain.
มันตัวมือใส่ทุกอย่าง
So the power just went out while we were eating dinner. So now we are using phone lights and everything like that so we can continue eating. Power went out in the hotel room, so now we are on, once again, phone flashlight power. So that wraps up for today. Have a good night.
Finally, we arrive at the Plain of Jars. It's a UNESCO heritage site.
มาเบ้วางเลยนุมานั่ง
ทั้งยางไถ่รถไทยเหรอ
ไม่เท่าใส่บวกหันเข้าไปไว้ก้นมูนไม่เท่าใส่
เก่งเด้อ
ตื่นเดี๋ยวโมงบุญหายแล้วไม่เท่าอะไรแต่ละมือไม่เท่าค่ะนอนบ่ยิ้ม
There are over 300 jars, and while most are sandstone, there are some that consist of a conglomerate stone.
You thought, hey, video, you thought, make picture.
And while there are a number of human remains, jewelry, and pottery, there's other evidence that it was like there's like prehistoric use like under the current remains as well. I don't know how they tested it, but that's crazy that it was just like there's so many different cultures and people that had a reverence for this particular place. Like, you can really feel like the history here. So we were in group 1, and that was like the largest set of jars. The hill itself provided a great view of like the surrounding plains. And because of that, it was a strategic point during the Second Indochina War. As you can imagine, there were a lot of like priceless artifacts that were just absolutely like annihilated. We'll never get it back. We probably won't know what they looked like because they were destroyed during the war. Definitely appreciate what's left and what remained. There's also like a ton of like divots from bombs, and you can't really appreciate it on video. Like you need a person next to it to see how big it is, but you just see like the land pot marked because of it. There's also a cave near Site 1. There was a French geologist, Madeleine Colani. Like inside the jars, there's like soil, glass beads, burnt teeth, and like bone fragments. Sometimes more than like a single individual for each jar. And there are 2 man-made holes at like the top. The current theory is that these were chimneys for a crematorium. And ultimately, like the Plain of Jars was an Iron Age burial site. And then there's like group 2, and this was a larger cluster of jars than Site 1. This was hundreds of years after the first set of jars. So this was a different group that kind of like added to it, like a different like culture that had come. Basically, on the way to the jars, they have like the tourist hub, and that acts like as a small like museum exhibit. covers the bombing in Laos during kind of like the Vietnamese conflict. The United States dropped the equivalent of a plane load of bombs every 8 minutes, 24 hours a day for 9 years. And because of that, Laos is, especially in the per capita, it is like the largest amount of unexploded ordnance to the population. And there are people that work tirelessly to try to clear out the mines to this day. And actually, there was a bomb squad that came, not necessarily because there was danger where we were then, but it's kind of just to like a routine check. And if you are interested on that, the documentary is This Little Land of Mines. It was directed by Aaron McGough. Really great documentary, worth checking out. Really kind of is a part of history that really isn't talked about. It's an eye-opener. On the drive back, we pretty much repeated our experience on the way there, where you would just have gorgeous sight, potholes, gorgeous sight, potholes, gorgeous sight, potholes. Thankfully, more gorgeous sights than potholes. It was nice. It was a really nice trip back. So it's really bright out, so I can't tell if I'm in focus, but we're just gonna have to run with it. So the Buddha statue behind me is I'm probably butchering it. It's like Vat Fiat. And this used to be kind of like completely like enclosed. It was bombed during the Second Indochina War, and it was basically pretty much like most of the structure was destroyed, except the Buddha statue itself, which survived, which is incredible. As you can imagine, I think that holds a lot of reverence for a lot of people. All right, we are halfway back to Paksan, and we're grabbing a bite to eat. So before we do that, though, I wanted to show you this restaurant view. The next few days were pretty chill. We hung out by the nearby temple, and here's a tree that you may have seen from like the previous like Laos video. We got to see people practicing for an upcoming boat race. That was cool.
This is her daughter-in-law. เมนูเลยนะ
ลูกสาวล่ะ
โอ้ยชื่อ That's her daughter
อันนี้ลูกเขาอันนี้ลูกไผ่อันนี้ลูกไผ่
แล้วเปลี่ยนบ่จือ เปลี่ยนได้หลายตะกี้แม่นตัวคนเขาเปลี่ยนได้หลายตะกี้เรางาม
เราอ้วมขึ้นคือเจ้าหั่นล่ะบ่
him is a girl husband.
Okay. Okay. when I was here last time, this hallway, this hallway was like one of my favorite noodle shops, and it existed between two homes. So people were like, oh, I like a hole in the wall restaurant. I was like, no, this is an alleyway restaurant. And it was great. But it's gone now, unfortunately. But the good news is it's right across the street.
ของลาวๆแล้ว
Her
ให้ไปทางไหนจังค่อยเจียง ไปทางไหนจังค่อยเจียง
we come Lao last time but don't you see that I come Lao last time I no saw her but this time I come see her because I know her ma when we very young the time I'm 13 or 12 her ma about 16 or 17 year old yeah
Okay.
now
Okay.
have chance to come see her
You know, as we were catching up, we kind of like wrapped up with fun communal dinners. It was great. So with our time at Paksan coming to like an end, we would head to Vientiane. I think it's Vientiane on Google Maps. So we would stay a few nights at the capital. Before that, though, we did stop by for another like longtime friend.
อยู่ปักสันแล้วเรามาอยู่เวียงนำลูกสาวแล้ว
when mommy like about 10 or 11 she come see me mostly the one
Oh.
yeah every time have something look like Fino everything she have to come give me be my friend go with her like that
Hey, what's up? We're currently off to check out one of the temples, so that should be very quick. I don't know if this audio is usable at all, but I wanted to make sure we got it because yeah, oh, this is awesome. We went to Jianquan Buddha Park. And this was made in like 1958. It's this gorgeous outdoor park. And you know, you can definitely see like the multicultural like influences throughout. All right, don't mind the dark brown hair from the trip here, but that Buddha is one Sagat fight stage level long. It's huge. trying to get these shots past all these tourists.
Có chi thiểm đi.
Mấy trăm đây. Cái chuyện này là dòng. Because a very old house, different now. Thì thằng này có vấn.
Lộ chi tiết nó.
Cái này dòng đấy.
Ok, con chào.
Hả? Chơi ở thằng này. Em thái phiềnอยู่.
Oh, ok.
Là thì à phong à xiang à. À phong à xiang kiểu chỉ có kiểu chứ nhỉ. À phong à xiang kiểu chứ nhỉ. Thì Canada say rồi. All old friend.
It's a theater here mà cái QC.
QC theater very popular. Laos mình chẳng khôn hi chứ nhỉ.
Oh, okay.
And, it was just like, went to the park, did some night shopping. There's a ton of like stands, in whether it is food stands or just knickknacks or clothing. Options are plentiful. With Laos coming to an end, we headed back to Thailand. All right. So we are at the border of Laos and Thailand. We have a couple of days left in the trip, and basically the plan is now to head into Thailand and actually enjoy some the plan is to enjoy some sightseeing, so really excited about that. Hope to catch some fun videos. So up next is just going to be us traveling to Bangkok. Okay, so now we are at the Thai checkpoint of the crossing, entering the country. All right, so we are back at Udon at the local bus station. And from here, we're going to be taking a bus. I don't know why I'm trying to make this so complicated. Okay, well, this is much brighter. So our bus died. So our bus is dead. We're stranded on the highway, and now we're waiting for a replacement bus to take us to Bangkok. So all right, replacement bus has arrived. All right, so we've been on the bus. The bus trip itself was basically from the upper part of Thailand towards Bangkok, the capital, which is actually pretty much super far south. Might be the most south. I don't remember at the moment. It was about an 11-hour trip. My mom and I, we've been traveling most of the day,
And so now we are waiting on a taxi to close it out and allow us to get to the hotel and get some rest. So I'm super excited for this next leg.
We're able to get a taxi. Once we arrive in the city, we get to the hotel, we call it a night. The next day, we went to the local Buddhist temple, Wat Pho. It's one of the oldest temples in Thailand and was found sometime in the 16th century. This is B, and she helped us navigate the taxis and rides throughout our time in Bangkok. There they had the reclining Buddha. I'm going to put on the proper name on the screen at this point. And this is where a giant Buddha that is like 46 meters like lays or lounges. From there, we would do a small ferry that would take us to Wat Arun. It's this beautiful site with like this incredible architecture to match. It's like colorful porcelain. It's the design and shape. The spirals are really neat. I don't know really what else to say on it. It's just like, it's very cool. It's very different. And if you're ever in Thailand, it's worth checking out. Stop by Chinatown.
As you can imagine, Chinatown in Bangkok is pretty close quarters.
After eating, we stopped by a local temple near Bangkok's Chinatown. I don't know the history on it, and Google wasn't super helpful, unfortunately, but you can definitely see there it has been around for quite some time, and it has an incredibly rich history for the locals.
Incredibly fortuitous news. We have the same driving us back. All right. Guess who forgot to turn on? Okay. Guess who forgot to turn on the microphone? That would be me. We are at the night market. There's like 6, 7, maybe even more streets just full of vendors that are selling clothes, knickknacks, and food. We're getting a lot of snacks, drinking a lot of things, so it's great. And it's also raining now though, so less great.
and it rained a ton. About 15 minutes in, the water had already come up higher than the sole of my sandals. With our last day in Bangkok, we headed to J-Fi. Now, you may have seen J-Fi on your YouTube recommend page in the past. She's the owner and the only cook at the restaurant that bears her name.
All right, so we've been waiting for about an hour and 20 minutes. We finally sat down. We're gonna grab some food.
Another hour before you can have the food. Take another hour.
We definitely had to get her famous crab omelet.
Yeah, I get it. I get the hype. Quick review of the food. It's delicious. For the crab omelet, it's basically like, do you like the taste of crab? Do you like the taste of like eggs? Do you like deep fried food? If it's like a kind of a yes across the board, all of it's fantastic. Absolutely killer. Totally worth the wait. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. It was really delicious.
Finishing up on that, we immediately went to Meklong Railway Market. And now, you may have seen this on TikTok, you may have seen this on YouTube, or anywhere else. It's one of the largest fresh seafood markets in Thailand, and it's notable that it's basically built on the railway. Like, not next to, literally like on top of. Whenever the train heads out, pretty much all the market stalls have to like pick up and make way. And, you know, it's really fun to see people pack and unpack. So now, please enjoy the following train ASMR. Now, I want to give a special shout out to this man. After we finished when we were filming the train section, there wasn't really like a lot of room for me to sit, so I took off my backpack. When we headed out, I forgot my backpack. And so, my backpack had my laptop. It also had the external backup drive. If it wasn't for him taking a motorcycle to find us, to drive around to catch up with us, and get my backpack back, there would be no vlog. And also I'd be out of a laptop, that an external hard drive, but definitely like the vlog was the important part. So huge shout outs to him, and just hope good karma continues along his way. We stopped by a floating market. Because it was a weekday at the floating market, there wasn't really much of a market to be had. Well, it would have been cool to see a ton of boats in the market, like all wheeling and dealing and being able to like buy stuff on it. We did get a really nice tour of like the surrounding area and seeing the sights and buildings and just the whole layout. With that, we wrapped up the day and began our trek back to the airport to head back home. As our flight was in the morning, we basically arrived at BKK in the evening, and just kind of like as the airport slowly quieted down, we waited until like ticketing opened up again. And with that, that is the cliff notes of our trip. Thank you for watching, and catch you in the next one.
Glass is a little foggy, but that's the ride to Japan. And then that'll be one step closer to heading home. All right, so my mom and I have arrived in Japan. We are in an airport we haven't been to before, Narita Airport. It's very nice. We had to kind of make a trek to get to our gate, but we found our gate. We're good to go. Probably gonna grab some snacks, hang out, and then it is a 12-hour flight home. Unless something exciting happens, this is probably gonna be my last entry. Thank you for watching. Super appreciate it. And it's one of these types of trips that kind of make you appreciate what you have, what's really important to you, like what do you want to check or what do you miss. And yeah, it was great. Absolutely great.